Hello, friends from the comic book world. My name is G,
And I'm Hector.
and we're here to talk about the August 2023 new releases. Hector and we work for Penguin Random House, so the titles that you'll see here are those that we can sell around the world internationally. I say that I'm like, oh, around the world and international is the same thing.
Yeah,
Repetitive, but at least you
yeah.
know. And how we usually do these presentations is we'll always go over our top picks for the month of August. In this case, we'll go over some highlights and then we'll leave you with the rest of the list to sift through. We are on social media, so I'll provide those links below in the description. Alternatively, you could just look up PRH International Comics where you'll find us on all those platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. So definitely comment down below on your favorites for this month as well. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first pick.
And the first is one of my picks. It's Only Teenage Wasteland. This is written by Kurt Pyers and it's illustrated by Jacobe Salcedo and Mark Dale. Um, and this collects a miniseries from Dark Horse, issues 1 through 4 that came out, I believe, last year. And it's a very cool story. It's a story about the end of the world, but it's a story about the main character. The His parents leave town, and he, of course, he has a party, and he and his friends get to impress girls first of all, and he and his friends even get bullied and all this. But in the middle of all that happening, the apocalypse happens, the world ends, and very few people survive, including the main character and his friends. And they're just, the rest of the stories is them trying to survive as best as they can. But this book has a lot of humor in it, and it's, I mean, imagine teenagers, you know, trying to survive in this world, and then just like without their parents even. So which I find interesting. They send the parents away so you don't have to see them die. So, but anyways, it's very. I read part of it. I haven't read the whole thing, and it's very, very sort of has that teenage sarcastic tone, and it's very, very cool. I mean, I love, for example, on this cover that you have the Shell sign for the Shell gas station, but the S is like gone, it's hell, and things like that you're gonna notice. And there's a lot of it's more about teenage life than it is about the end of the world. I also want to mention for our international friends, Jacobe Salcedo is a Mexican artist. He's an amazing American Mexican artist who lives in the U.S., but he has done quite a bit of work. This title, by the way, also is it's part of the Comixology originals that now Dark Horse then Dark Horse prints. So I wanted to highlight those things for you. And Kurt Pyers has done a couple of projects already with Dark Horse, like this with Comixology and the Dark Horse, and there's a few more coming. So keep out an eye for those, but I highly recommend this one.
All right, so my pick almost kind of needs no introduction because this it definitely blew up once it hit with DC and Webtoon. This is
Yeah.
Batman Wayne Family Adventures. This is volume 1. I picked it because we have this trade paperback coming out, and this is one that you don't want to miss out on in physical collected edition format.
Yep.
This one, just really briefly, as you can see in the chaos of the cover image here, that Batman is dealing with the chaos of all of these Bat family characters. So Batman is essentially like this father figure who has like this endless supply of adopted, fostered, biological superhero children, basically, and they act like children in a way. But this is great because it's just like a light and fun, but also it delves into deep things as well. And it's like almost like a slice of life of these superheroes, sides of them that you might not be able to see in some other stories. It's wholesome, it's very pure, which I think lends well with the webtoon format. It's just in this kind of format that it came out in, which webtoon does a vertical format. I think it was awesome to see how that gets adapted into this medium, and I really, really enjoy it. So I definitely recommend picking this one up.
Excellent. I gotta say, I'm also a big fan of the Rain Family webtoon. Next up, Something Green Hell by Jeff Lemire, illustrated by Doc Mankey. Uh, Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of fans of Jeff Lemire out there, and he's doing so much, and he's been doing so much in the last few years. But I think, and I try to read as much as I can from Jeff Lemire, but this is, I think, one of his best work, in my opinion, one of his best work uh, in general. And I think it was very highly underrated when it came out in single issues. It was only three oversized black label single issues. Um, because Mainly because of black label, it's more adult, but also I think it was because there was a long time in between issues. There was like months in between issue 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So I think a lot of people might have maybe missed out on this one, and this is your chance. And I think this is definitely the kind of story that is amazing and it's great when it's collected. Not that it wasn't great when it wasn't, but I think it's specially made to see into this big format and in hardcover that we're getting here. And the story it's a sort of a alternate story that in the future end of the world, the population of Earth are all living on this one island. Which is the peak of a mountain, which you see there on the cover, sort of. Basically, that's where society is living, and so they all agree they need to, clean the slate clean and start over and all that, and this they kind of summon this creature from the deep, and but the only person that can control the this creature Swamp Thing is Alec Holland, and it's but Alec Holland has been dead for years. So it starts with Constantine kind of trying to look for a solution to this situation, basically. It's very cool story. It's a very Jeff Lemire horror story, but also with a lot of drama emphasis on it. And at the same time, the illustrations are amazing. I mean, Doc Monkey does an amazing, amazing job. And then when you get a bigger canvas, as you do with Black Label, um, I think he really took advantage of that. And it's that kind of book that you open up and you have, panels that are both pages, and it's amazing. So highly, highly recommended. I think a lot of people are going to jump on this because, like I said, I think they kind of missed out when it was out on single issues.
All right, next up we have Vixen NYC. This is volume 1. As the title implies, we have the main character, Mari, who goes to New York City to attend college. And before she heads out, she gets gifted by her relatives this ancestral totem. And she just thinks it's just a random like superstition, and it's just like there's a fable associated with the totem that whoever wears it wields the power of the animal kingdom, and she just kind of brushes it off like it's like not a big thing. But then after arriving to New York City, she notices that things are a little bit strange, a little bit, just a little bit strange in the new city. And by strange, she starts to notice that girls who look like her tend to go missing. And Mari couldn't help but feel that she might be next because of what's happening. And so spoiler, not really a spoiler, but turns out totem is real and its magical powers is a thing. That's not just a superstition. And it's up to Mari to wield its powers. And so basically, freshman year of college is going to be crazy for this character. And yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. This is by Jasmine Walls, and really excited to pick this up. And yeah, for this month.
Yep. Cool. And next up is Star Wars Dr. Aphra Omnibus Volume 2 by the amazing Elisa Wong, illustrated. It says here by Marika Cresto, but actually I think there's various artists throughout the whole omnibus. It collects issues number 1 and 25 of the second volume of Dr. Aphra, obviously the one written by Elisa Wong. I picked this. Dr. Aphra has become probably I don't want to say my favorite, but it is become sort of my favorite character in all of Star Wars. And it's amazing because it's a character that hasn't had a live action or animated debut yet. But all Star Wars fans, we know that's coming at some point. We're gonna get either a live action or animated Dr. Hopper. It has to happen. And another thing is that I'm such a big fan of Elisa Wong. They are one of the hottest writers right now. They are writing Deadpool. They're writing Spirit World, and came up with the character of Auntie. I think you pronounce it. It has an X at the beginning, but I think you pronounce it Auntie. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And they've been it's an they're a writer that have been around for a while, even though they are very young, and they have been doing a lot of big things. But I think Dr. Afra was sort of the big splash, the biggest thing that they have done since the beginning. But now they're on another level. And the other reason, it's I really think people who love Star Wars are gonna love it, but also people who love Indiana Jones, who's coming out with a new movie. This is Indiana Jones in space. Dr. Aphra is totally Indiana Jones in space. And I'm not going to talk about all the plot of this omnibus, but it's typical Dr. Aphra, typical Indiana Jones. She's up, but she's a little bit, she's not as good and clean as Indiana Jones. So she's going after treasure. She is in it for the glory and the money, and she sort of messes with the wrong people all the time, and people who hate her are after her all the time. And one of the people behind after her to get her is her ex Sanastaros, who's also become a big character in Star Wars, and has her own miniseries that is going on right now on single issues, and will be collected later this year. So highly recommended. There's a second cover. This is the main, retail cover, trade dress, main retail cover, and then there's a direct market cover, right, with Santa Stars right there. So I highly recommend reading anything Dr. Afra if you haven't, and I think fandom for this is going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. So this is something to pick up. And I was waiting for volume 2 because I have volume 1 collected already now, but I need volume 2. So that's it.
Next up, we have young Alfred Payne and the Butler. I like that. This
Yes.
is Michael Northrup, and there is a special place in my heart for Alfred. So this is something I definitely, of course, this is no question, had to talk about. So if you are interested in the story on how Alfred got his start, this is where you can dive in. And this premise, basically, Alfred attends this Gotham servants' school, and he's not the Alfred that we see yet. I mean, he's going to become the Alfred that we know, but as a young Alfred, he's clumsy, he's a nervous boy, but he wanted to fulfill his father's last wish, which is to become a butler. And so things are weird at the school. He suspects that his school is involved in a criminal plot, and he must look within himself to see if he has what it takes to not only be a butler, but also a hero. And you'll follow that story once you read through this. So, really love this. Love Alfred. Love that that the attention is being spotlighted on him in this. It is juvenile fiction, but I feel like I mean, as an adult, I obviously want to dive into this as well. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. All right. And then now we're gonna talk to you about, show you, highlight some of the titles. And this first slide right here has Absolute Preacher, Volume 1, the 2023 edition. Garth Evans is the writer. And then Absolute Spider-Man for All Seasons, Jeff Loeb. And with all the news about, the new DC Universe and all that, this is one of the books that people are looking for. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Omnibus by James Tynion IV. And then we have the box set for Batman One Bad Day. It says Tom King here, but because he wrote the first one, which was the Riddler. But if you don't know, all of these books, each one is written by has a different creative team, writer and artist, and it's sort of it has G. Willow Wilson, it has Tom Taylor, it has like different characters, different artists. So, and you're gonna see the individual volumes later on in the presentation. And then last one on this slide is Beatrice Rose Vigilante, this graphic novel by Stephanie Phillips. I love Stephanie Phillips. Yeah.
Continuing on with highlights, we have Blood Force Trauma, created and written by Jake Smith and Hiram Corbett. We have Blue Book Volume 1, 1961 by James Tynion IV. And then we have two artist editions. These are really cool if you ever beheld one before, or you could pick it up here. We have the Frank Miller's Daredevil, and then we have the Mike Golden's Marvel Stories, both artist editions. And then we have the really cool Peter David's Joe Fixit listed here as well in the month of August.
Yep. Next up, we continue with the Immortal Hulk Omnibus by Al Ewing, and we have a regular cover and DM only cover right there. And then, and I should have turned that up. Sorry about that. And then the Invisible Iron Man Omnibus Volume 1. This is a new printing, obviously by Stan Lee. And then we have the Invisible Iron Man Omnibus Volume 1 by Stan Lee. And we have two covers. We have a Granoff cover and we have Jack Kirby cover.
Great. We have Ianu, the Child of Wonder. This is volume 3. Ianu is going to be in the media, as you might have heard. So definitely keep a lookout, and you probably want to catch up on the story before you see it on screen. So we have that written by Roy Akupe. This is part of the Unique Universe. I highly recommend checking out those stories because this is not the only title that's part of the Unique Universe. So next up, we have Loki Modern Era. This is the Epic Collection, Journey into Mystery by Kieran Gillian. And then we have these two, I mean, obviously, this is the two that we're highlighting, but we have these two masterworks, Marvel masterworks. We have the Avengers main cover for the volume 1, and then we have the DM only cover, as you'll see here. And the anticipated, both Hector and I, we played this ourselves. So this is Marvel Multiverse role-playing game rule book. And this is Matt Forbeck. We had lots of fun playing this. So yeah, definitely
very
pick it
cool.
up.
And next up is Marvelverse Kang by Roger Stern. And if you want a place to like really catch up on who Kang is, very simple, very straightforward, this is it. And a very good price too. And then you have Your Pal Fred, Low Power by Michael Rex. And then we have Mex Kid by Pedro Martin. And we continue with Sonic the Hedgehog, Scrapneck Island by Daniel Barnes and Jack Lawrence. And then we have the Teen Titans Go box set 1, TV or Not TV by Shirley Fish.
Right, we have Spider-Gwen. This is Ghost Spider Omnibus. We have the main cover. This is Sean and McGuire, by the way. And then we also have the really cool, I could tell right away who did the art. This is Inhyuk Lee variant or DM cover. Then we also have the Robinson DM cover as well. So we have 3 different versions for you to pick from. We also have Spider-Man 2099 Dark Genesis by Steve Orlando. Insert really brief comment about how cool the animated Across the Spider-Verse movie is. So
Yeah.
and insert here.
Yeah.
And then from IDW we have True Cult by Scott Wilson and Liana Kangas. Really cool series for you to check out as well.
Mm-hmm. And then we have these new editions with connected covers of the amazing Kami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo Beast Boy, Teen Titans, and Raven stories. And we have obviously Teen Titans Beast Boy, we have Teen Titans Beast Boy Loves Raven, Teen Titans Raven, and lastly the most recent entry on this series, the Teen Titans Robin. And as you can see, the covers actually do connect with each other. I do have to highlight that the Robin one is a DM only cover, so it'll be available only in the direct market, in the comic book market.
I just realized this is out of order, so it will be connected.
Yeah, I was
if
gonna
you
say,
put it in the right
I
order.
was gonna say,
Raven is
it
first.
doesn't really connect, but it's supposed to connect. But trust me, it does connect if you shuffle them
you'll
around a
see
little
Beast
bit.
Boy's arm on the Raven cover.
Yeah.
It's supposed to connect with Beast Boy, and then Beast Boy.
Raven is
You'll
supposed to be the
see.
first one. Yeah, which was
Yeah.
the first book that came out. But anyways, glad we
All right.
clarified that. And that's it.
Yeah, I had to
for
mention
the
that. That's my bad, everyone.
That's all right. And that's
Well, this
go for it.
concludes our highlights. And there is more. Obviously, there's way
Yes.
more than this.
Don't go away.
We'll leave you here with the presentation, but definitely keep watching after we exit because you don't want to miss out on some additional titles that you don't want to miss out on. So, with that, bye everyone, and definitely again comment down below. Let us know what you're thinking about picking up for the month of August. So.
Thanks.